Hello students, welcome to our new video. In this video, we are going to discuss graph of polynomial functions. So let's get started. Let us discuss how to graph a polynomial function. Step 1. Determine the end behavior of the graph using the leading coefficient and the degree of our polynomials. Okay, we have to take note of these conditions. Tingnan natin ang degree, yung highest exponent ng ating polynomial, whether it is even or odd. At titingnan natin ang ating leading coefficient, whether it's positive or negative. Kapag ang degree ay even, n is even, what are those even numbers? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. And we have a positive leading coefficient. Our end behavior is rising to the left and rising to the right. Ibig sabihin, sa kaliwa, pag in-extend natin ang ating graph, pataas lang siya ng pataas, up to infinity. Sa kanan, pataas din siya ng pataas, up to infinity. Now, if we have a degree which is again even, pero naging negative ang leading coefficient, our polynomial graph is falling to the left and is falling to the right. Okay, falling sa kaliwa, falling sa kanan. On the other hand, if our degree n is odd, and we have a positive leading coefficient, so n tapos positive, our end behavior is falling and rising. It falls to the left and rises to the right. Pababa sa kaliwa, pataas sa kanan. Now, kapag odd pa rin ang ating degree, pero naging negative ang leading coefficient, our polynomial curve or polynomial graph is rising to the left and is falling to the right. Okay, so let's have the step 2. Okay, balikan natin yan later. For now, dito tayo, step 2. Our step 2 is, we need to determine the number of turning points. Pag sinabing turning points, ito yung point kung saan ang ating graph ay bumaba or lumiko. Mula sa pataas, biglang umakyat, or bumaba, mula sa baba, biglang umakyat. Okay, that's turning points. It is actually equal to the degree minus 1 or n minus 1. Okay, tingnan natin ang highest exponent, minus 1, yun na yung ating turning points. Example for number 1. X cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 7. Here, our n is 3. That's 3, yung pinakamataas na exponent. Ibig sabihin yan, ang ating turning point ay 3 minus 1, which is 2. We now know that we have 2 turning points in this polynomial function. So, pagsamahin natin ang step 1 at step 2. Okay. Ano kaya ang ating magiging end behavior? Tingnan natin ang leading coefficient. This is positive 1, right? So, our leading coefficient is positive. And our n or degree is 3. 3 is odd, right? Ano ang end behavior kapag positive ang leading coefficient at odd naman ang ating degree? Balikan natin yung kanina. Okay, balikan natin. Kapag positive tapos odd, our end behavior is falling to the left. Ito siya. Falling and then rising. Falling to the left and rising to the right. So the possible sketch or graph would be, so falling. And we have 2 turning points. So 1, 2. Sorry, ulitin natin. Yan. Para ma-emphasize yung kanyang left at right. So, it falls to the left, it rises to the right, and we have 2 turning points. Isa, dalawa. Isang liko, pangalawang liko. Okay, example number 2. Okay, in this example, we have x raised to 4 plus 3x squared, minus 4x plus 1. In this example, what would be our number of turning points? Our highest exponent is 4. So that's 4 minus 1. And that's 3. So, tingnan natin ang leading coefficient. Again, positive 1. And our degree is 4. 4 is an even number. So, dahil positive at even number, tingnan natin dito sa kanina. Positive, tapos even number. Nakikita po? Positive, tapos even. So, our end behavior would be rising and rising. So, gawin natin dito. Rising and rising. So, this is how it goes. Rise to the left. Tapos, meron tayong tatlong turning points. 1, 2, 3. Yan. Rising and rising, we have 1, 2, 3 turning points. Okay, let's have example number 3. This example number 3, and this is the given. Negative 2 times the quantity x plus 2 times x plus 4 squared times x plus 5 squared. As you can see, our given is not written in standard form. It is written in factored form. Paano natin malalaman ang degree ng ating polynomial sa ganitong form? Okay, let's look at the factors. Bilangin natin ang factors na meron ng ating function. So, you have x plus 2, 1, x plus 4, another 1, but it's squared. So, it's counted as 2. So we already have 3. And x plus 5 is to the power of 2 again, so plus 2. So, our n here, or degree, is 5. Again, we add the exponents of each factor. So, 1 plus 2 plus 2. So, the degree of this polynomial is 5. So, for the turning point, this is 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. Now, balikan natin ang ating leading coefficient. Our leading coefficient is negative. Ito yon, negative 2 kasi siya. And our degree is 5. So, that is odd. For this example, we have a negative and odd. So, tingnan natin ulit ang ating conditions. Kapag negative, tapos odd ang ating degree, our end behavior is rising and falling. So, it's rising. Okay, so yan ang left. So, 4 ang ating turning points. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we are rising to the left, falling to the right, and we have 4 turning points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's example number 3. Now, example number 4, let's have this. In this case, we have x plus negative x times x plus 1 cube times x plus 3 squared. Now, ano ang ating degree sa given problem na to? Again, we have here 1 plus 3 plus 2. That is 6. So, the degree of this is 6. And for the turning point, 6 minus 1, that is 5. Now, balikan natin ang ating leading coefficient at ang ating degree. Ang leading coefficient natin ay, again, negative. So, negative. At ito ay may degree na 6, which is even. Okay, negative and even. So, kung negative, tapos even, let me show you. Kita ba? Yan. Negative, tapos even, so it's falling to the left and falling to the right. Falling and falling. So, mag-sketch tayo. Falls to the left, and we have 5 turning points. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Falls to the left, falls to the right, and we have 5 turning points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how we do the step 2. Okay, now let's go for the step. This is our step 3. Find x-intercepts. It's good to note that x-intercepts are also the roots and zeros of the function. And to find this, we have to let y is equal to 0 and solve for the value of x. Okay, now in our problem number 1, y is equal to x plus 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 2. It's already written in factored form. So, mas madaling hanapin ang zeros or ang x-intercepts kapag nasa factored form na ang polynomial. Now, let's let y equal to 0. So, ibig sabihin nito, itong bawat factor ay pwede na maging equal to 0 din. That's zero product property. So, x plus 3 equal to 0. Nire-write ko lang. Another factor is x plus 1 equal to 0. Another factor is x minus 2 equal to 0. Now, solve for x. So, napaka-simple lang yan. You just have to use addition property of equality, or in layman's term, transpose. Transpose 3, that's x is equals to magiging negative 3. So, x is equals to negative 1. X is equals to positive 2. So, these are the values of x, our x-intercepts. We have to write them in the form of an ordered pair. So, this is, from here, we have negative 3 and 0. Since y is equal to 0. On the other one, we have negative 1 and 0. And positive 2 and 0. Now, let's have example number 2. So, we have 2x minus 1, we have 3x minus 2, and x minus 5. Again, it's written in factored form. So, pwede natin kunin ang mga factors. Equate natin lahat sa 0. Yan. Okay. Separate them with this line. Ayan. So, in this case, 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. When we transpose this, you will be left with 2x is equals to negative 1. And we divide both sides by 2. And then x is equals to negative 1 half. In this case, we have 3x is equals to, ilipat si negative 2 sa kabila, so magiging positive 2. And then divide both sides by 3. And then x is equals to 2/3. And the other factor we have, x is equals to positive 5. Okay, so kasi nilipat na lang siya. Now, what are the x-intercepts? Isulat natin siya in the form of ordered pair. So, in the first x-intercept, we have negative 1 half and 0. That's 1. On the second one, we have 2/3 and 0. That's 2. And then we have 5 and 0. So, these are the x-intercepts of our given function. Okay, let's have another example. So, this example number 3. Y is equals to x cubed minus x squared minus 10x minus 8. In this given problem, it's written in standard form. So, it will require us to do factoring whether by grouping or by synthetic division, kung saan tayo mas nadalian. So, gagamitin natin ang synthetic division. So, ano muna ang mga possible roots? Possible roots are the ratio of the factors of the constant, negative 8, and our leading coefficient 1. So, ano muna yung mga factors nito? Positive or negative 1, positive or negative 2, positive or negative 4, and positive and negative 8. Ibig sabihin yan, ito yung mga kukunan natin ng possible root. Tatry natin kung alin dito tayo makakuha ng 0 na remainder. Okay, subukan natin ang positive 1. Positive 1. And the coefficients are, from here, positive 1. From here, that's negative 1. And this is negative 10. And this is negative 8. So, again, saan galing yung mga yan? So, positive 1, negative 1, negative 10, and negative 8. Now, let's use bring down, multiply, and add. Balik sa multiply and add. So, bring down 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 1 plus 1 plus yan. So, that's 0. 0 times 1 is 0. Negative 10 plus 0 is negative 10. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. Negative 8 plus negative 10 is negative 18. Since hindi tayo nakakuha ng 0 na remainder, ibig sabihin, itong 1 ay hindi root at hindi natin to pwedeng gamitin. So, we disregard this. Disregard natin siya. So, kung hindi pwede yung positive 1, doon tayo sa negative 1. Okay, babalikan ko yung mga coefficients galing sa ating polynomial. So, 1, negative 1, negative 10, and negative 8. Ayan. So, again, bring down 1. Multiply, this is negative 1. Add, this is negative 2. Multiply, this is positive 2. Add, this is negative 8. Multiply, this is positive 8. And add, this is 0. Ayan. Since 0 ang ating remainder, we can take this as our root. Okay, so therefore, kung root siya, 0 din siya, so siya din yung x-intercept. So let's list down our x-intercepts here. Ang first natin ay negative 1 at syempre may kasama siyang 0. Okay, so x and y. So, kasi x-intercept siya. Now, tatlo na lang ang naiwan na coefficient. Pwede natin ituloy ang synthetic division. Try tayo ng mga sumusunod. Pero pwede na tayong mag-factoring. Since meron na lang tayong tatlo, so quadratic equation na to. So, kunin ko siya. Gawin nating x, 1x squared. Bakit naging squared? Kasi galing ka sa cube, nakakuha ka ng isang factor, so bawasan natin ng isa yung 3. So, naging 2 na lang. Minus 2, x pa ba yung exponent, minus 8, equal to 0. Pwede nang wala yung 1. Now, kung mag-factoring tayo, okay, factorable naman siguro to, x squared, x times x. Ano-ano ang factors ng negative 8 na kapag in-add ko ay magiging negative 2? So, 4 times 2 is 8. Dapat isa sa sila maging negative. So, kung negative 4 times 2, negative 8 ang sagot. Pero pag in-add ko tong dalawa, dapat ang sagot niya ay negative 2. Kasi negative 2 yun. Tama ba? Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Tama. So, we will take this negative 4 and positive 2 as our another roots. So, kung ito na yung factor na meron tayo, of course, x is equals to positive 4, x is equals to negative 2. So, meron tayong dalawang root pa dito. So, meron tayong x-intercept. From here, we have positive 4 and 0. From here, we have negative 2 and 0. Ayan. So, we have our x-intercepts here. Ito na ang ating mga x-intercepts. This is our example number 4. Let's find the x-intercepts of this function, x raised to 4 plus 2x cubed minus 7x squared minus 8x plus 12. Again, kunin natin kung ano yung mga possible roots natin. So, factors of 12 over factors of the leading coefficient, 1. So, ano yung mga factors ng 12 and 1? So, 1 whole number siya kasi 1 na ang nasa denominator. So, positive and negative 1, positive and negative 2, positive and negative 3, positive and negative 4, positive and negative 6, positive and negative 12. Medyo marami. Lahat ng yan pwede maging roots or factors ng ating polynomial. Okay, so yun ang magbibigay sa atin ng x-intercepts. So, yan. So, try natin muna ang positive 1. So, kunin natin yung coefficients galing sa ating polynomial. 1, 2, negative 7, negative 8, and positive 12. Again, we apply bring down, multiply, and add. Bring down 1, multiply, 1 times 1 is 1. Add, this is 3. Multiply, that is 3. Add, this is negative 4. Multiply, that's negative 4. Add, this is negative 12. Multiply, that is negative 12. And this is 0. Since 0 na ang ating remainder, we take this as zeros or roots, and we have our first x-intercepts. This is positive 1 and 0. Okay, now let's look for other x-intercepts. Remember that yung degree natin na 4, natin ay 4. Therefore, we expect at most 4 roots. So, pwede ring maging 4 ang x-intercepts natin. So, again, since naging 0 tayo dito, copy natin tong lahat ng coefficients. 1, 3, negative 4, negative 12. Siya naman ang gagamitin natin sa ating synthetic division. So, na-try natin yung 1, try natin ang positive 2. So, bring down 1, multiply 2, add 5, multiply, 10, odd, this is 6, multiply, this is 12, and this is 0. Again, 0 siya, so we'll take 2 as x-intercept. So we have 2 and 0. Now, 1, 5, 6 are the remaining coefficients. Tatlo na lang yan, so pwede na tayong gumamit ng factoring kasi quadratic na siya. So, rewrite ko siya dito. 1x squared. Squared na lang, tatlo na lang kasi siya. Constant linear quadratic term. So, plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Pwede nang wala yung 1. So, mag-factoring tayo. Factors ng x squared ay x tsaka x. Okay, now, ano ang factors ng 6 na kapag inad ko ay 5? So, 6 equals 3 times 2. Tama? Pag inad ko yung dalawa, 3 plus 2 is 5. So, pasok yung 3 at 2 doon sa hinahanap natin. So, x plus 3, since parehong positive, plus 2. Equate it again to 0. So, from this factor, x is equals to negative 3. And from this one, x is equals to negative 2. And these are the last two x-intercepts. So, lagi ko na dito. Negative 3 and 0. And negative 2 and 0. These are our x-intercepts. So, that's it. That's how we do or we find our x-intercepts. So this is step 4 in graphing polynomial functions. We have to determine the multiplicity of the roots. Multiplicity of the roots refers to the exponent of the factors where you've got that root or that x-intercept. Okay, so parang ganyan, yung square, yung cube, kapag na-factored form na siya. So, kapag even ang multiplicity ng ating roots, yung graph ay tangent doon sa x-intercept or mag-bounce back. Halimbawa, ito ang ating x-intercept. So, kung ang ating graph ay nandito, it will just bounce back. Hindi siya tatawid doon sa x-axis. Mag-bounce back lang siya pataas or kung pababa siya, pababa, babalik siya pababa. Now, kapag add naman ng multiplicity, the graph will cross or pass through the x-axis at the point of the x-intercept. So, halimbawa, ito yung x-intercept natin. So, galing sa taas, kunwari, ang ating graph. So, instead na mag-bounce back siya, siya ay didiretso pababa. O kung saan man siya pupunta, depende sa given function. So, from here, nag-cross siya doon sa ating x-intercept. Okay, now, let us determine the multiplicity and the behavior of the graph in each x-intercept. First given is x plus 4, x plus 1 squared, and x minus 2 cubed. Sabi ko kanina, makikita ang multiplicity doon sa exponent ng factors. So, identify muna natin yung x-intercept. So, dito, ang x-intercept natin ay negative 4 and 0. Ang multiplicity niyan ay 1. So, yan ay odd. So, dahil odd, this will cross at the point negative 4 and 0. For this one, you have x plus 1 squared. So, ang x-intercept dyan ay negative 1 and 0. And it has multiplicity of 2. So, that is even. At the point negative 1 and 0, the graph will be tangent. Or it will just bounce back. Okay, now for the third one, we have x minus 2 cubed. So the root there, or the x-intercept from that, is 2 and 0. Now, dahil 3 to, this is odd. Again, kapag odd, it will just cross. Okay, hindi muna tayo mag-graph. Yan muna, kailangan ma-perfect natin siya. Now, example number 2. For that one, ayan. So, y is equals to 2x plus 1 squared, x minus 3 squared, and x minus 4 raised to the 4th power. Wait, gawin natin itong cube. Ayan. So, from here, our x-intercept is, so magiging 2x is equals to negative 1, right? And then divide both sides by 2. X is equals to negative 1/2. So our x-intercept from this factor is -1, half, and 0. Since ito ay may multiplicity na 2, that is even. At kapag even, balikan natin yung kanina. Kapag even, ayan, it will be tangent. Kita ba? Ayun. So, dahil even siya, it will be tangent. Okay. For the other factor, we have x minus 3. So, ang root or x-intercept from that factor is 3 and 0. Now, this is 2. So, again, even na naman siya. And that will lead to a tangent. Okay. Now, for this one, this is, ang x-intercept from this factor ay 4 and 0. Ang ating degree ay 3, which is odd. Dahil odd, pag add, it will just cross. So, it will cross our x-intercept. Okay? So, there you have it. Ready? Thank you. So, this is step 5 in graphing polynomial function. You have to determine the y-intercept. How? Let x equals to 0 and solve for y. So, example number 1. Y is equals to x cubed minus 2x squared minus 10x minus 8. Ang sabi, let x be equal to 0. So, rewrite natin yung ating equation. Palitan natin lahat ng x ng 0. So, 0 cubed minus 2 times 0 squared minus 0 times x minus 8. 0 cubed is 0. So, wala na yan. Negative 2, 0 squared is 0 times negative 2. So, 0 ulit. 0 times x is 0. So, y is equals to negative 8. Therefore, our y-intercept is what? 0, negative 8. Since x this time is 0, yung y ang na-compute natin. So, 0 and negative 8. So, for example, number 2, this one is in factored form. So, 2 times the quantity x plus 1 times x plus 3 squared times x plus 1 cubed. So, compute tayo. Palitan natin ulit lahat ng x ng 0. So, y equals 2 times 0 plus 1. And then this is 0 plus 3 squared. This is 0 plus 1 cubed. So this is 2 times 0 plus 1, 1. And then 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 squared is 3 times 3. So that's 9. And then 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 raised to 3 is 1. And then continue. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 9, 18. 18 times 1, 18. So we have here 18. Y is equals to 18 when x is 0. Therefore, our y-intercept in this example is, ayaw na sumulat, 0 and 18. 0 and 18. This is our y-intercept. Okay, so there you have it. Another example. And so let us graph this function. F of x is equals to x cubed plus 3x squared minus x minus 3. Okay, we will follow these steps. First is for the end behavior. Ang end behavior ay magagaling doon sa leading term. So dahil ang leading term natin ay x cubed, positive ang leading coefficient at ang ating n ay 3 o ang degree ay 3, so which is odd. So, kapag positive tapos add, kung babalikan natin yung ating table kanina, this is falling to the left and rising to the right. Now, for the turning points, our n is 3. Turning point is n minus 1. So, 3 minus 1 is 2. So, we have 2 turning points. So, ang steps nito, it falls to the left, and then it rises to the right. So, fall and then rise, we have 1, 2 turning points. For the x-intercepts, dito tayo mag-compute. Compute tayo. So, copy natin muna ang problem. So, x cubed. So, y is equals to x cubed plus 3x squared minus x minus 3. Ayan. So, from this function, kunin natin ang ating constant at ang leading coefficient. So, kunin natin yung ratio nun. So, ang factors niyan, since whole number naman kalalabasan, so pwede na wag niyo nang pansinin yung 1 sa ilalim. So, possible roots are positive and negative 1 and positive and negative 3. Ito lang ang pagpipilian natin na possible root na magbibigay sa atin ng x-intercepts. Okay, simulan natin sa positive 1. Okay, so kunin ang coefficients ng ating function, 1, 3, negative 1, and then negative 3. Gamitin natin ang bring down, multiply, and add. So, bring down 1, multiply 1, add 4, multiply 4, add 3, multiply 3, add 0. So, dahil 0 na yan, we can take this 1 as our first x-intercept. So, ang x-intercept natin ay 1 and 0. Kasi 1 yun. Now, from there, 1, 4, 3, pwede na itong gawing quadratic equation. So, x squared plus 4x plus 3 equal to 0. Dahil tatlo na lang sila, quadratic na to, at pwede na tayo mag-factoring. Factorable naman siya. Kung hindi, gagamit tayo ng quadratic formula. So, x squared, factors ng x squared ay x tsaka x. Factors ng 3, na kapag minultiply ko ay 3, at pag inad ko ay 4. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So, pasok ang 3 at 1. So, positive 3 and positive 1. Okay. So, dahil may dalawang factor na rito, pwede natin kunin ang ating x, value ng x mula dito ay negative 3. Then, mula naman dito ay negative 1. Therefore, ang x-intercept ay negative 3 and 0 and negative 1 and 0. So, pwede ko na to, ayan, negative 3 and 0, negative 1 and 0. Pwede ko na yan isulat dito. Another roots or x-intercepts are negative 3 and 0, tsaka negative 1 and 0. Okay? Now, for y-intercept, for multiplicity, tingnan natin saan nanggaling yung 1 and 0. Ito yon. So, ang factor niyan ay magiging x minus 1, which is also a linear expression. So, dahil linear yon, ang degree nun ay 1, so this is add. At kapag add, alam natin that the graph will be crossing our x-intercept. So, sa negative 3 at yung negative 1, dito nang galing yon. Sa x plus 3, x plus 1. Pareho din silang may exponent na 1. So, this is add. Kasi add yung 1. So, again, on this intercepts ay mag-cross ang ating graph. Okay? Now, for y-intercept, babalikan natin tong equation natin. X cubed plus 3x squared minus x minus 3. So, papalitan natin lahat. So, rewrite ko na lang. X cubed plus 3x squared minus x minus 3. Yan. Papalitan ko lahat ng x ng 0 para mahanap ko ang y-intercept. Ayan. So, 0 plus 3, 0 squared times 3 is 0, minus 0, minus 3. Lahat ng to ay 0 na. So, this will lead us to y is equal to negative 3. Therefore, ang y-intercept natin ay 0 and negative 3. Pwede ko na yung isulat dito. Ang y-intercept natin ay 0 and negative 3. Now, mag-graph na tayo. So, sa graph, ayan. This is our y-axis. This is our x-axis. Sa pag-graph, bigyan natin pansin agad muna yung ating mga intercepts. Plot natin ang intercepts natin. Negative 1 and 0, negative 3 and 0, negative 1 and 0. So, wait lang, angat ko na lang. Ayan. Kita ba? Ayun. So, mula dito, negative, this is positive 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Tapos, 0 and negative 3 dito. Yan. 1, negative 2, negative 3. So, ito mga x-intercepts natin. 1 and 0. So, ito yun. Negative 3 and 0, ito siya. Negative 1 and 0, ito siya. Ang y-intercept ay 0 and negative 3. So, yan yung mga intercepts natin. Now, balikan natin yung end behavior. End behavior natin ay falling and rising. So, mula dito, sigurado tayo na tayo ay, falling pala. Bababa. Falling. Falling, yan. At mula dito, sigurado tayo, kasi siya nasa rightmost, na tayo ay mag-arise. Ayan. So, doon tayo sa multiplicity. So, doon sa negative 3 and 0, may add tayong multiplicity. It will cross. The graph will cross. So, mula dito, hindi tayo mag-bounce back pababa. Instead, tayo ay didiretso. Tatawid tayo sa x-axis. Ayan. Punta sa panibagong x-intercept. Sa negative 1, eto, add ulit at nag-cross. So, tayo ay magko-cross dito. Yan, nag-cross, hindi tayo nag-bounce back. Papunta sa ating y-intercept. Kita pa ba? So, after this, diretso tayo sa ating another route, another x-intercept na 1 and 0, na magko-cross din tayo. So, nag-cross. So, nag-cross na siya. Ito na siya. And there you have it. We have falling, rising. We have two turning points, and these are our x-intercepts. So, that's how we graph this function, f of x equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus x minus 3. Ito ang graph niya. Okay, thank you and mabuhay. Alright, so let's have another example. Let's graph this function, f of x is equals to x squared times x minus 2 squared. Okay, let's first identify the end behavior. So again, what is the sign or the sign of the leading term here? This is a positive. And what is the degree? So you have here a square of x and then square of x minus 2. So therefore you have 2 and 2. So the degree is 4, which is even. And here is 4. Okay. Now kung positive tapos even, we all know that it should be a rising and a rising and behavior. It rises to the left and rises to the right. Now, for the turning points, again, our n is 4. So, 4 minus 1 is 3. So, we'll have 3 turning points. So, kung mag-graph tayo, sketch natin, rising to the left, and then, it still rise to the right. So, 1, 2, 3 turning points, rising and rising. Now, for the x-intercepts, we have here x squared times x minus 2 squared. So, naka-factored form na siya. So, from x squared, ito na, dito. From x squared, equal natin siya sa 0. Then, dito, x minus 2 equal to 0. So, yung square niya, it will tell us the multiplicity of our x-intercept. So, this is 0. And here, this is 2 and 0 with a multiplicity of 2. So, lagay natin dito. X-intercept ay 0 and 0 dahil meron tayong x squared. Tapos, 2 and 0. Again, for this multiplicity, square siya, diba? Square siya. So, this is even. So, even ang ating multiplicity for 0 and 0. And dahil even siya, it will be tangent the graph is tangent to our x-intercept. For the other one, it's a 2 and 0, siya pa rin ay square. So, that's still even multiplicity. So, dahil even siya, again, tangent pa rin. Ayan. For y-intercept, okay, mag-compute tayo para palitan natin ang computation ng y-intercept. Palitan ko si f of x ng y equals x squared times x minus 2 squared. Wait lang nga. Guhitan ko muna. 0 squared times 0 minus 2 squared. This is 0 times negative 2 squared. So, kahit maging positive 4 to, still, 0 pa rin ang ating y-intercept. So, our y-intercept is 0 and 0. So, pinaita ko lang pero obvious siya doon sa given. Kasi nga, meron tayong x squared. So, 0 and 0 ang ating y-intercept. Now, pwede na tayong mag-graph. Okay, graph tayo ulit. So, in this case, pakita natin yung ating function. Okay. Ayan. Kita ba? Yun. Okay, so this is our y axis. And this our x axis. Ayan. Y, x. Okay, and our x-intercepts are 0 and 0, and then 1, 2. This is another x-intercept. And then this is also our y-intercept. So, balikan natin ang ating end behavior. This is rising and rising. So, ito yung pinaka-last natin na x-intercept sa kaliwa. So, mula dito, dapat tayo ay mag-rise. Ayan, mag-rise tayo dyan dapat. And from here, sabi sa 0 and 0, even, so magiging tangent tayo dyan. So, hindi tayo mag-cross. Instead, mag-bounce back lang tayo. Yan. Tapos, papunta tayo dun sa kabila, panibagong axis. Oh, sorry. That's natin. Panibagong x-intercept. Ayun. Pagdating dito, which is, this is 2 and 0. Sabi doon, even, so magiging tangent. See? Tangent pa rin. So, hindi ulit tayo mag-cross. Instead, mag-bounce back tayo pabalik agad. And there you have it. We rise to the left, rises to the left, right, and we have 3 turning points. 3 turning points. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Okay, so this is the graph of f of x is equals to x squared times x minus 2 squared. Hope you learned something. Thank you for listening. So there you have it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have learned to graph polynomial functions. You may now start doing your task on your own. Thank you and God bless.